Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and I'm so happy to have you joining me for another Sunday reset. In today's video, we are continuing on with our deep cleaning for the new year and we are moving into my family room. As you can see, I have a pretty open layout and this space gets used all the time. We are going to enjoy this beautiful snowy day and get our space super clean. To get us started, I am using my step stool to pull down my curtains. Now, I only have 2 curtains here in the family room, and that's because I needed something when we first moved in to kind of finish off the window a little bit. But I do have some plans for this space. We have been slowly but surely working on getting our home just as we like it, and I have a lot of ideas for our family room. So make sure that you are subscribed for some upcoming projects, but I do absolutely love this space. We have a large family, so if you're new to my channel, I've got 5 beautiful children and we spend a lot of time in this space watching movies, playing games, just hanging out, watching the snow. This is one of our favorite places to spend time besides the kitchen. So it gets a lot of love, it gets a lot of use, and definitely needs a good deep clean. So I'm going to start off with those curtains and make sure we get those dust free. So my plan for this space was to move from the top down. So I am starting off by using a duster to just clean off our little gooseneck lamps here. These do work. They do have some puck lights inside. However, I don't love the color of the lights, so I don't really turn them on very often. I'd like to switch that up, but that's how they are for now. And just gonna work our way through with the duster. The weather outside was absolutely beautiful. I was so happy to finally have snow. It has been such a mild winter this year, and my family and I were very prepared for this year. We'd gotten new sleds and we were ready to go, and unfortunately, it has not been very kind to us. So I was so happy to have the snow, even though 2 days later, it was gone. But we did have a snow day this day. This was an extra day, so you'll notice I'm in very comfy and cozy clothes, and we were just enjoying this weather. And I was excited to be able to get a little bit of a larger project done. I'm just taking a second now to use one of the black microfiber cloths I got on Amazon to wipe down my faux fiddly fig. As you can see, it had gotten pretty dusty, and I'm just using some Mrs. Meyer's cleanser just to wipe it down, and it really, really needed it. It's amazing how many things get dusty. We do have a lot of pets, and there are a lot of us that live here, so I try to dust fairly regularly, but there's parts in the house I forget, like this plant, or faux plant for that matter. Sticking with wiping things down, I'm just going to give these picture frames a quick little wipe down. I bought these picture frames at Walmart and filled them with pictures I found on Etsy, and I love them. I think they're really beautiful. Again, working our way from the top down, I am just going to dust off our fan really quickly. This fan is giant and very high, and I am very short. So I have this really nifty tool that we picked up at Home Depot in our Las Vegas house. We had 9-foot ceilings there, and it's got this great tool that just kind of, it's a ring that has a hole in the middle, and just slide it over your fan blades and it gives it a really good clean. It makes it really simple. Now I'm changing out the duster to this other tall duster that will allow me to clean off the television here, just kind of wipe down the sound bar. This really didn't need much except that the fact that I realized here that there was still a piece of protective plastic on it. We just recently picked up this television, so that's kind of fair, I suppose. And I'm just taking my microfiber cloth, not putting anything extra on it and not putting any pressure really at all, and just taking off any fingerprints that I saw on the TV. Next, we're going to tackle one of my least favorite chores in the entire world, and that's dusting the blinds. I don't enjoy this one at all, so we're going to speed through this, but I'm starting off by just kind of wiping down the trim around our windows and then going over all of the blinds. It really wasn't bad, but it needs to be done. Luckily, our blinds are white. You can't really see much of it, but it's one of those areas that catches a lot of dust, and I try to do this a couple of times a year, even though I really, really dislike it. I'm also giving the windowsill a really good wipe down, and I'm also going to wipe down the inside of the windows. Now, obviously, it is not the season to be washing the outside of the windows, but I figured while I was here, might as well just complete the job. One of the projects that I would like to do here in the family room is to change out our blinds. Now, we don't have blinds on any of the windows across the back wall in our family room and dining room, and that's because we live in the middle of a bunch of trees, and we love the look of the trees in the backyard. Plus, as you saw earlier, when it's snowing, it's just absolutely stunning to look at that wall and see straight outside. So there's no neighbors behind us, no need to put blinds there, but we did put some quick and easy blinds in these windows because we do have neighbors on the side. So eventually I would like to trade out these white faux wood blinds for some really beautiful warm colored Roman shades, just to bring in some more warmth and color to the space. I think it would really lend itself nicely here, and hopefully I can get that project done sooner than later. Now we're just going to take a minute to speed through the rest of these windows as well as our French doors. don't know what it is about this window, but this window gets a lot of fingerprints and nose prints for some reason. But one of the things we also did for the winter was take off the screens on all of our back windows as well. And that was just because we wanted a really clear view of the snow, and it also let in more light during these dreary winter days. When cleaning a space, deep cleaning it, don't forget to wipe down your doors. This is one that I always forget to do, but luckily I remembered today. You can see I have a little furry friend down at the bottom, right next to the sideboard. Lion was following me around all day. Speaking of the sideboard, we're going to move over to this next. I have said probably 100 times, and I will keep saying it 100 times. This is my favorite piece of furniture I have ever owned. I absolutely love this sideboard. It is gorgeous. I bought it and it was a really dark stained oak, and I painted it this beautiful milk paint in the color linen, and I just adore it. And it's a perfect little space to house blankets on one side. We've got all of our electronic equipment on the other side, like our internet router, that sort of thing. And then the middle drawers are where we keep our laptops, extra plugs, all that good stuff. It's a hot mess in there and could definitely use some organization, but we know what's in there. We know where to find things. So there is that, but it definitely could use some organization. This lamp that I'm dusting off here is 1 million years old. I'm pretty sure I bought it when I moved out of my mom's house and into my first apartment. I spray painted it in Las Vegas to this gray color, and obviously it does not match my current style. However, you don't really see it. I hide it behind my big bushy pothos, so it's perfectly fine. Actually, I think it's a philodendron, but it's perfectly fine. It just, does its job, gives off some really beautiful mood lighting at night. And between that light and the light that's on the sofa table behind my couch works perfectly. It's just the right amount of light. I also have a wax warmer there, but right now during the winter season, it doesn't seem to be warming up enough to stay melted. So it's kind of a bummer, but we don't like to run our forced heat a ton. Number one, it's expensive. And number two, I just feel like it dries everything out. So everybody has heated blankets on their bed. Everybody wears really nice sweatshirts, and we try to keep the house a little bit on the cooler side, just to keep the cost down, and it's a little bit more comfortable that way, and it works out perfectly fine. So I should probably put the wax warmer away until it's not winter anymore, but that's all right. It can live there. It's from Walmart and it's beautiful, so it doesn't bother me at all. And I'm just putting the things back here on the sideboard that I had decorated for Valentine's Day, and we're going to move on to our next area, and that's the sofa. So one thing we're not going to do today is pull everything off and vacuum underneath. I had actually just done that, I don't know, maybe a month earlier, and I don't love that chore, so I didn't want to do it again. So we're just going to give the sofa a good vacuum. I do get a lot of questions about our sectional. This is from Living Spaces, which we don't actually have out here on the East Coast here in New England. I bought it in Las Vegas. We actually bought it in January of 2020. It was our first major furniture purchase as a married couple, believe it or not. We'd already been married for 14 years. And we just always kind of had hand-me-downs or ones that we bought pre-owned, and this was the first sofa that we bought on our own. So that was exciting. And I love it. It's big enough for everybody. It's ridiculously comfortable. As you can see, it's very lived in. Our cushions on the back are always the home for some fluffy animal. We've got our floof back there, Tallulah. She is a little old lady cat. She's 14, God bless her. So she likes that spot because she can kind of sink in. Charlie loves that spot too. She can get lost in her blanket. So I like that we can move the couch cushions around. Everybody can move them and get comfortable. And it's been a really, really good sofa for us. And the best part, you guys, it was under $1,000. Like, I don't even know how that's possible, but I feel like we'll never get that lucky again. I just love this sofa so much. When my children are older and not so harsh on things, I'll probably get a new one. It is getting pretty beat up, but we love it. Moving on, now we're going to work our way down to the floor, and I am vacuuming off our baseboards and vacuuming along the edge of the baseboards. So we have a floating floor. These are luxury vinyl plank, and so because of that, sometimes there's a little bit of a gap between the bottom of our baseboard and our floors. So I try really hard to vacuum regularly along the bottom just to make sure that any animal hair that's getting underneath there, crumbs or anything else, is getting vacuumed up. It's really, really easy. It doesn't take very long at all. And then I just kind of vacuum across the top of our baseboards as well. And it just gets the job done really quickly, easily, and it makes a really big difference. It makes the space feel really clean. Another important area for me to make sure I'm cleaning regularly are our floor vents. So the way that our house is built, we do have floor vents on our first floor. I guess it is our first floor. And they go down to the basement into the ducts. And so I try really hard to make sure that I'm regularly vacuuming across the top of those so that any hair that gets caught in those areas is vacuumed up and doesn't get down into our system. And we change our filters very regularly. Now that our curtains are clean, and they didn't take long to dry, I didn't dry them all of the way. I waited until they were most of the way dry, and then I'm putting them back up so that way the weight of them can kind of pull them straight and flat so I don't have to give them an iron. They are just a really nice sheer material, again, just to kind of finish off the window. I didn't want to block any of the beautiful natural light, and I think they look great. Now I'm just coming over here to this little stain that I found on my rug. Not sure what it was, but luckily I've got this really great rug brush that I picked up on Amazon. I think it was Amazon, maybe not. And I'm just spraying a little bit of the Mrs. Meyer's all-purpose cleaner, and it just gives me an opportunity to kind of scrub it, brush it, and it'll dry. You won't even know it's there. It's wonderful. I know somebody's going to ask about the rug. I get asked very regularly about this. It's actually from Ross, and we purchased it on a whim when we lived in Las Vegas. I've never seen it again. It's really, really beautiful, and I liked the colors. I thought that they were very subtle. It definitely is a little cooler than I use now. Our house in Las Vegas definitely had a lot more gray tones, but I do think it is still really pretty, and I like the way it looks next to our floors. I think the floors help it look a little bit warmer. It's not very soft and not very cushy, so there's that, but I think I need to just invest in some rug pads to make it a little bit, softer. The rug at the back, right there by my doors, is actually a kitchen rug from Target that I picked up right when we first moved in. We moved in December last year, and so there was a lot of mud being trudged in, so it was important that I got a rug right away. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this Sunday reset. I'm not going to be wiping down the sofa table as I just did that before we decorated it, but it feels really good to have gotten some of those bigger projects done, like the blinds and the baseboards And I did eventually mop. Well, that's a lie. Danny eventually mopped. He's the mopper in the house. God bless him. So I just want to thank you for joining me in today's video, and I hope that you found some motivation today. Hopefully you're warm and cozy wherever you are and enjoying your day, and hopefully you'll come back and see me again. Take care, my friends. I'll see you soon.